So it finishes 4-2 on penalties to Forest. Yes, penalties against 10 men Exeter. What the hell was that? Welcome to the match reaction and player ratings. Evening, everybody, and welcome to the later than scheduled match ratings. The BBC 10 o'clock news will follow after this. I've always wanted to say that. Are you guys still awake? I mean, if Forest had carried, if extra time was like golden goal rules with no limit, I think we'd have to miss the Fulham game because I just can't see how Forest would have scored a goal. It was embarrassing. Look, I'll give credit to Exeter. I thought they were plucky, Luton-esque there. They played really well. They made the game dirty, which is how you level a game when clearly Forest have the more superior players. But I would argue that on paper, on the pitch, it didn't look like we did. That was utter crap. You can add that to the boring math pile. You can add that to the Fulham pile, the Man City match pile. When Forest stink the house out this season, it stinks, man. It's like an unflushed toilet that's just sat there for a couple of days where that smell goes stale. That's what Forest were like today. Every one of them players, even the odd one that played well, should be embarrassed collectively for what they've done. And God only help those away fans. It's now 11:15 in the UK. It's a 4-hour trip back. Let's assume a lot of them will be going to Nottingham. I mean, what are we looking at here? 4, 5 o'clock in the morning on a school night, on a work night. And that's the level of commitment and desire Forest showed. No, I'm sorry, not acceptable. Look, put to one side, we're third in the league. We're going to talk about this match in isolation because this match in isolation was a total poo show. It really was. And there's a lot to take away from it. Firstly, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well if you are new. Shout out to Curtis with the $2. Says more embarrassing than losing to Boring Mouth 5-0, he says. And I gotta say, he's got a case. Thank you so much for the $2, bud. Look, one thing, I think the biggest takeaway for me from this game actually does prove something, that Forest do not know how to build play into an attack in the final third of a game unless it's a counter attack. That for me is a hugely worrying sign. This is a team that should be able to beat a Division 1 relegation threatened Exeter. Chris, thank you so much for becoming a member, bud. And if the rest of the Premier League is watching that game, and it's something I've been saying all season, what happens when they say, here you go, Forest, have the ball? That's a big question that needs to be answered. Johnny Boy, thank you so much for the $1.99. He says, what a shambles. I've just had to order some just for men, just for that. Thank you so much for the $1.99, bud. And if I was Marco da Silva, I'd be looking at this game and thinking, let's just give them the ball on Saturday and see what they do with it. Because based on that, they'll be playing until, the cows come home before they even get a chance or create a chance. Very, very poor. Clearly, Nuno's system needs space to work into. And without space, we ain't got a clue. Let's be real. This is almost in reverse of what we've seen Forest do, apart from where Forest can counterattack quickly and score. Exeter just reversed it on us. They really did. We'll get into the player ratings in just a second. If you want to get your votes in, I can't wait to see how you voted, the likes of Miguel and everything else. The link's pinned in the chat. Make sure you go 0 for pure crap, 10 being the best performance you've ever seen, 6 is somewhere in the middle. So make sure you get your ratings in. It's completely free to do for everyone. But let's break down the performances. I want Nicky and Rob in jail tomorrow. Look, I've never been how can I say this? My stance on Sels has always been good keeper, but boring. But man, has he kicked on this season. With Miguel, I've always said we need to have a look at him. We need to see what he's got. That brother looks like he's got no confidence whatsoever, man. And he did the exact same thing he did in the Newcastle match, was blunder it in the first minute. This one was worse than the Newcastle match. It was terrible how he flapped it between his hands like that, man, and just let it through. Was it crypto as well? Well, we'll be holding them to account on Thursday. I mean, first question on Thursday, and they can have 2 days to prep on it. Let's see what answers they come up with. Is do you still want Miguel in goal? So he was shocking. I thought De Silva, and I'd hate calling out kids. You guys know I don't like to do it, but that was not a good performance from him. His passes were blind. He wasn't looking where he was passing to. His crossing was poor. He got lucky with some of his tackles. He just didn't look at the races for me. And this is a kid I highly rate. Andrew, with the £2 says, you're lucky you didn't hear McCoy's commentary. Was he on comms? Oh my God, man. Oh my God. Thank you so much for the £2, bud. So he was poor. Moreno was an absolute stinkfest. An absolute stinkfest. Taiwo out for 10 days with concussion. Is that confirmed, Matt, or in your opinion? Moreno, for me, done. As soon as Nico Williams came on, you saw the difference in quality. Granted, we're against Exeter. No disrespect to them, but he was poor. Jota was horrific today. And Sosa was okay for like 20 minutes of the game, and then he was losing the ball. His crosses were poor as well. Sangare, I thought, had a fantastic first half. He completely bossed the game. He created spaces around him. I think he definitely still isn't fully match fit. I thought he gassed out early in that second half and needed to come off. Danilo was okay. And then outside of that, I thought Nico Williams, when he came on, was decent. Gibbs White was poor. He had maybe 5 minutes when he came on where he was decent. And then when he got circumcised for that red card. And let's not forget, Exeter were down to 10 men for quite a long period of the whole of that game. Gibbs White, I thought, was poor, if I'm honest with you. Wood didn't look like he wanted to be there. His shots were quite lazy. I would normally expect him to score that header or that left foot attempt. And Anderson came on. Yeah, Anderson was all right. Anderson was okay. Who else was there? Bolly. What was he doing for their second goal? Clownish defending between him, Taiwo, and the goalkeeper. I mean, there's not a good performance out there. Outside of Nico Williams, Anderson, and Sangare, maybe Danilo, the rest were poor. The rest were poor. So let's jump into the ratings. We've all got jobs and schools and what have you to go to tomorrow. So let's run through this quickly. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the cup match. We're through. All the usual cliches will come out. So it is what it is. But I thought Toffolo was okay. But Miguel, for me, he's a straight 0. Any higher than a 0, and you guys are severely sleep deprived. He did nothing good. He did nothing good. And then he ended up injuring himself just to get himself off the pitch. I mean, I hope he's okay. And this is a joke, by the way, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nuno said to him at halftime, "You're coming off, mate. Come off gracefully. Let's blag an injury so that we can get you off." You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that with tongue in cheek. He's a 0 from me. There's no way he's any higher. How on God's green earth have you lot got to a 2.31? I'm so drunk, Wolfie. I was not expecting that on a Tuesday night. I have no words. 2.31. Let's move on. I ain't got the energy for us to see a 2.31. De Silva, for me, extremely poor today. I wasn't impressed with anything he did. I want to see him succeed. I think he has a lot of potential. You gave him some points for walking off. Fair enough. Fair enough. De Silva for me was a 2. I thought he was very, very poor. I don't want to berate a kid, but I have to call out that performance. Not great. He hasn't had much game time, so move on from him. Wow, you guys gave him a 4. All right, I'm not gonna sweat it out on a kid. Let's move on to Bolly. Bolly's legs are gone, man. John with 199 says our B team would struggle in the championship. I actually think our A team would struggle in the championship, bro. I'm not even joking, because the expectation would be on us to attack, and we would end up with, 23 other Exeter teams there. Bolly, for me, defensively was okay. His legs are not there. I mean, he was done after about 70 minutes. But you can't look past that sliced own goal. It was so poor. It was so poor. I'd give him like a 4 out of 10. Probably the poorest game I've seen from Bolly, to be honest, in a Forest shirt, apart from the first half hour where, who was his debut against, Villa or something? Look, he was probably like a 5, right? But that slice is for an experienced player is not acceptable at all. So I'll give him a 4. You guys went a 5.1. I think that's high. I think that's fine. He's okay when he's got good defenders with him, says Carol. Yeah, they can do the running around him. I mean, I was surprised Bolly went into a back 4. I think it's a bit too exposed. And by the way, he was playing such a high line at some points. I'm thinking, bro, how the hell do you think you're going to get back? Anyway, that's what you said for Bolly. Buffalo, I thought was started slow and then improved and grew further into the game. And I know we're talking about Exeter. Let's put that to one side. But Buffalo is probably the best defender on the night. I think he was a 5. I don't think he was too bad. His energy's held up well. Again, he hasn't got game time. Even though he was all right, I still question the whole play a left back at centre back. This isn't FIFA 19, man, where you go for, the glitch in the formation. You play the centre back at centre back. You know what I'm saying? I probably would have rather seen Zach Abbott get some minutes instead of that. So he gets a 5 from me. You guys went a 5.2, so about the same on him there. Quick reminder, guys, get those likes up. Get those likes up while I bring up Alex Moreno. Hit that like. Make sure you're subscribed. You know the drill. Moreno was shocking, man. He was probably one of the worst players on the pitch. And I know there's a lot of candidates for it. Actually, probably Jota was worse than him. Miguel was worse than him. I rephrase that. I just thought attacking-wise, he was poor. Defensively, he was poor. He got lucky. He nearly gave away a penalty, which would have been their winner. They then had a shot off the back of his poor defending. I don't want him to sign, man. He can rewrite his letter to his Batiste freaking fanboys, and then he can go back there for all I care. He can be Villa's problem in the summer. He's a 2 out of 10 for me at a push, at an absolute push. Let's see what you guys gave him, a 3.57. Wow, that's pretty high. I mean, a 3, I would have thought it meant high, but a 5, that's a lot. And I think he's on a decent whack, I think he's on a decent whack. What happened to the Moreno who was man of the match against Liverpool? Where's he gone? Where's he gone? I have no clue. Let's move on to Ryan Yates. Into the midfield. Look, Ryan Yates today was sideways backwards for me. Sideways passing, backwards. Most of his passes, I don't even need to see like the stats on it, were to Sangare. He was just looking for Sangare. It's almost like he was told, Yates, you have no idea how to pass the ball forward. You give it to someone who knows what they're doing. So every time he got the ball, he just gave it to Sangare, or he went backwards. And whenever he went forward, it was a hit and hope lump ball. Now, it's not him singularly. There was loads that were doing that. But no, he wasn't good today for me. He's a 4 out of 10. And you know what frustrates me the most about this? If you started today, barring Sangare and Danilo, who are coming back from injuries, the clear message from Nuno is you are the B team. Go out there and show me why you should be considered for the A team. And I don't think a single one of those B team players can actually go to Nuno, WhatsApp him tonight, knock on his office door tomorrow and say, Gaffer, what are you saying? Off the back of my performance, am I in for a shout against Fulham? I don't think a single one can do that. And if they did, if I was at that door, I'd slam that door in their face. I really would. So he's a 4 for me. You guys got about the same, 4.4 for Ryan Yates. It's just, that's my biggest frustration about today. It's like, if you're given an opportunity, and as I said, take Sangare and Danilo out of it. Obviously, they're recovering from injuries. Why would you not at least put in a performance where your effort levels were 100%? Nuno said it, what could be better? So many things. Is that what he said? Oh, God. Okay, Sangare for me was fantastic in the first half, dictated the play, 2 great assists, great balls, great assists. He was very good. I think he gassed definitely in the second half. He's a 7.5 for me, maybe even an 8. It depends if you want to, critique him for gassing, but he is coming back from an injury. Yeah, I'll say a 7. I think 7's about right. You guys, well, you matched it exactly a 7. I didn't see much Sangare hate in the chat today, which is very unusual from you lot, I gotta say. So 7 for Sangare. I don't think he will start against Fulham. I think we've had good indicators of what the team will be for Fulham now. Let's move on to Danilo. Danilo was okay. Some of his shots were wayward in that first half. Again, he's coming back into full fitness. I thought he was okay, but not great. So I'll give him a 6. They're probably, the highest scores you're going to see on here. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10. You guys went a 5.7. 5.7. Quick reminder, guys, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well if you're new here. All right, let's talk about Jota Silva. Now, I had said before the Brighton match that I was kind of done with him, that he was a dog chasing his tail, flies to shit, all that kind of thing. But against Brighton, he was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. Today, he was atrocious. He's up there for me with Miguel as one of the worst player on the pitch. I didn't like anything he did. His passes were poor. His tackling was poor. He wasn't really helping De Silva that much. Very poor for me. He's a 2. He's a 2. Terry, thank you for subscribing. I don't know where I sit with him. I feel there might be a player in there. I mean, he could have won the game in normal time, and his shot wasn't great. I know it hit the post and what have you, but I didn't think it was a great shot, to be honest. Against a League One keeper, you would expect someone of his so-called quality to score that. So yeah, I thought not great today. He's a 2. Wolfie, don't even do a man of the match. Yeah, no, there's no man of the match tonight. I can't bother with it. It's either Sangare or Nico Williams for me, to be honest, or maybe Anderson. Okay, you guys went a 3.7 for Jota. Gave Sangare a 6 for the assist. Still can't complete 2 yards passes consistently and turns like a bus. I mean, that's harsh, Matt. That's harsh. That's harsh. Man's just come back and the whole team stunk out the show. And you're going to critique someone who actually played decent. Look at the space he created for himself and what have you. Okay, let's talk about Sosa. I wasn't really that impressed with Sosa either, I'll be honest with you. I thought his crosses in play were horrific. They were either too low or missed the first man or anything like that. I thought he was poor in general. His dead ball crossing was a little better. I wasn't that impressed. I think the link-up play when Gibbs White and Anderson came on made him look a little better, because when they come on, they operate on the left-hand side. And just by being there, he ended up involved. And I don't think his finish was that good, if I'm being honest with you. The keeper should have done better. His finish should have been more in the corner. You're saying good goal. Watch it back. The finish was poor. The keeper blundered it in. In spite of his goal, I'm only going to give him a 4 out of 10. I'm sorry. I know a lot of you probably won't agree. Wolfie, Sels should get man of the match for coming on. I don't know. I don't think anyone deserves man of the match. Now that's harsh. Watched it back. Maybe I need to watch it back. I just think the keeper blundered it, if I'm honest with you. I'm giving him a 4. You guys are going to 5.58. By the way, I'm not writing him off. He hasn't had any form of a run in the team. I'm just judging on what I saw tonight. We got 550 in the house. Mods, how we doing on the likes? Let me know. The Walking Boom with the £2 says, is the window open tomorrow? Asking for a Greek fan. Unfortunately not, bro. Unfortunately not. When me and Crypto were saying we need a backup striker, I mean, I didn't want to be proven right. I'm sure Ben will say the same thing. But Taiwo, I don't know. How long does a broken nose take to recover from? You know what I'm saying? Thank you again, bro, for the £2. Much love. Appreciate it. And let's talk about Taiwo. I think his goal was really good. It was one of his best finishes. He made contact with his boot. He did a lot of work as well. 137 likes. Are you for real? Get those likes up, guys. Come on. We're into overtime here. We're almost going to a penalty shootout on this. Get those likes up, guys. Come on. It's free to do. It takes literally 1 second, and I can stop moaning about it. So I would say, look, Taiwo's finish was good, but he had a couple of chances before it, and he was just shinning it, man. He was shinning it off his freaking ankles at points. So his finish was good. I'll give him like a 6 in general. I just hope he's okay. His score doesn't really matter tonight. Is probably what I would say. As long as he's okay, he's fine. And he needs to be okay, not because I rate him anymore, but we have no warm bodies behind Chris Wood. And my worry now is, in these next 10 days, if what Matt was saying is true, that Chris Wood is going to, in the back of his mind, know that he can't go in on a challenge. That if the keeper's rushing out on him, he's probably going to have to let it go. And this will be subconscious. Because if he goes down, our backup is probably Jota. Do any of you trust Jota to play as a 9? He can't play on the damn wing. How's he going to play as a 9? So I hate to say it, but what me and Ben have been saying has been vindicated within a goddamn 11 days of the window. Within a week of the window shutting, we've suddenly picked up an injury. Now, hopefully it's not a long-term injury, but still, where was the business done in the transfer window? I'll give Taiwo, what did I say, a 6. You guys went 6.27, so about the same. Okay, so that was the starting 11. In terms of the subs, I can't freaking remember the subs, man. All right, let's run through these subs very quickly. The Matt Sels came on. Matt Sels didn't do anything wrong and obviously saved the penalty. Went the right way a few times. He was absolutely fine. 8 out of 10. No problems. The fact that we needed to use him in itself is embarrassing. I still haven't seen Nikki in the chat. I don't know where Rob's disappeared. Ben Crypto needs to answer for his crimes as well. So I am a solid 8. You guys went exactly the same with an 8. Dominguez came on. He was okay, but sloppy is the best way I'd describe him. He was definitely an improvement on Yates. Wolfie, Nuno got to play strong team next round. Yeah, we'll be at home. It'll be different. It'll be different. I'd say he was okay. He's like a 5. Little sloppy, but a 5 out of 10 for me. You guys have gone a 5.7. Can we recall Dennis? No, not this early on, man. And then Elliot Anderson came on. I actually thought Elliot Anderson was okay. Probably one of the better players on the pitch. Brought a bit of calmness to it, but creatively, even he struggled to make some. 6 for me on Elliot Anderson. Thought he was all right. You guys have gone 6.7 on him. Who was next, guys? Gibbs White. For the first 5 minutes, Gibbs White was really good. It's almost after he took one in the nads, man, that he suddenly his game went to poo. His passing was poor. His shooting was poor. That lazy pass that he did on the halfway line that went straight to the Exeter player, who was so surprised that it went to him, that had he been more alert, probably could have run through and scored. I didn't like his performance at all today. At all today. First 5 minutes, yes, fine. And then after that, no, I'm sorry. He's better than that. He's better than that. You felt when he came on, oh, look, here comes the quality. And you saw it for the first 5 or so minutes. And then, he just fell into the same rut that all the other players seem to be in. He's a 4 out of 10 for me on that performance. Wow, you guys gave him a 6. I must have missed something. Winning football matches matters a 10. Good penalty. The penalty was fine. But no, I'm sorry. I think 6 too high. You guys are going to tell me I've missed something. Whatever. I don't think the subs expected to be put on, and it showed to. Yeah, I'd agree with that. They were like, really? We got to come on for a team that hasn't won since Boxing Day in League One? You think it's harsh? Carol, I think you're being too soft then. Wolfie, yeah, where is the striker we needed? And look at Awonyi. Injured. Let's hope Wood don't get injured. Exactly. I'm sticking on my 4, guys. You can have your 6s. This is the beauty of this. You all get your opinion. Yeah, he did the pigeon steps again, Steve. They make my butthole just do this as he's doing them. And then Chris Wood came on. I thought he was poor when he came on. That header, he should have buried it. That's bread and butter for a player of his quality. His left foot shot was very lazy and weak. His penalty was good, but he could have finished the game off in extra time or normal time whenever it happened. He's a 5 for me. I thought he should have been more clinical. Let's see what you guys did. Oh. You went 5.7. 191 likes. Right. All right, guys, come on. We've had an embarrassing display from our team. Now you guys are giving an embarrassing performance with the likes. Let's get it over 200. Make sure you've hit that like button. If you haven't already, you don't want to upset Carol, man. She'll be all over you guys. There's what? Still 550 in here. Plenty of you to get those likes up with. Okay, let's move on to Nuno. I wish Nuno had blue ticked my WhatsApp message and gone with the team that I suggested. I think a 3 at the back today, a 3-4-2-1 would have worked nicely. Now, the performance was still on the players, don't get me wrong. But when you put in a Tuffalo at centre back who's a left back, when you put in leaving Jota on for as long as he did, he should have been hooked at half time. When you've gone to penalties against a League One relegation threatened team that hasn't won since Boxing Day, he doesn't get away scot-free. I'm sorry, he doesn't. So I hold him culpable for it, but not directly. I hold him indirectly responsible for that performance. And I worry, my biggest worry is how is he going to get this team to break down a low block? Because his tactic does not suit that. Now, yes, you can do all the traps. Yes, against Fulham this weekend, the onus will be on them to come out. They're the home team, and we can potentially catch them on the break. But I look ahead and I think to myself, okay, let's assume Forest get into the Champions League. Let's assume we go into next season as one of the, the big six, if you like. Teams start to show you respect. Does Nuno have that side of the tactics within him to coach to the players, to teach them how to break down a low block, how to have that triangle game where you trap a defender, isolate him, maybe pull him out of position, create that space, get the ball in, force the winger in to cut in, all these things. Teach Morgan Gibbs-White how to shoot from range or even from close. Has he got that within him? Now, that's a question a long way down the road, by the way. Long way down the road. What he's doing now is fantastic. Look, we're through at the end of the day, but it is not befitting not to call out some of the improvement points that need to happen under his tactics, because these are his tactics historically as well. When people fall into his trap, he's the best manager in the world. When he falls into the trap, does he know how to get his team out of it? And on display, you would have to say no. So we'll see how that goes. Look, like I say, that's probably not till next season. That's not till next season. So we'll see how that one goes. So overall, I can score him no more than a 5. Job done. Needs to figure out how to break down a low block. I now worry that if some Premier League teams cotton onto it and think, let's try it, see what happens. We'll see how it goes. I am a 5. You guys have gone a 4.8. 4.8. So I'm getting a message. I don't know how true it is, saying Taiwo's out for 3 weeks. I'll get it confirmed. I've no idea if that's true or not. We'll have to. I think it's too early, if I'm honest with you, for any kind of diagnosis and prognosis, etc. Is there any extra players you would have at Forest? No. Maybe that Harper guy. He looked all right, but I mean, I think anyone could have looked all right there. Jeff saying we should have 250 likes. We should indeed. We should indeed. I'll be surprised if his nose ain't broken, Rick. I'll be surprised. I mean, he can play with a mask. We saw Nico Williams do it against Brighton. I know he don't want injuries, but he should have put on a stronger team and different formation. Yeah, I mean, someone's saying in the chat before, Cloughy would always put out a strong team. I mean, I know times were different then and what have you, but it is what it is. Remember, we started with a B team. Teams won't use that as a plan. It doesn't matter about the B team. The tactics and the philosophy are taught from A team to B team to youth team when you have a manager in charge, so that you can have that development, because no manager is brought in under the assumption that they're probably going to be sacked in 18 months, which is the average lifespan of a manager in the Premier League. So they bring those levels in so that the youth teams, the players who are excelling, can come in and feel comfortable in the formation. They're not teaching different tactics to the B squad. The B squad are training with the A squad, after all. So you guys have gone a 4.8 from him. Now let's very quickly do the man of the match. I'll be interested to see who you guys go with. So get your suggestions in. I'll put Sangare there. I'll put Williams there. I'll put who else? Sels. And one other. I'm struggling. Anderson. There's your 4 candidates. Get your votes in quickly. We've all got work and school and what have you to get to tomorrow. So get your votes in. Let's see what you go with. Are you saying Sangare or Sels in the chat? Let's see how the vote goes. It's very close between Sangare and Sels. Sangare on 46, Sels on 41, Williams on 7, and Anderson on 6. I'll leave it open for another 15 seconds or so. By the way, if Sels was your man of the match, don't forget to get a ticket for his signed framed shirt. That ends tomorrow. It's only 99p to get your asses in that. Scan that QR code or type in !prize in the chat. All right, you got 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Your man of the match just by with 1% clear of Sels goes to Sangare. Sangare. And I agree with you. Head and shoulders above the rest of them. So good shout. You've redeemed yourselves on the man of the match. Right. We got, what we got tomorrow? We got some kind of video coming out for you guys. Grumpy Old Reds will be on Thursday as a Grumpy Old Reds /forum, right? We'll look back at this game and we'll look ahead to the Fulham game. Will there be a video in the morning? I don't think it'll be in the morning tomorrow, Rick. I think it'll be in the afternoon. So the daily video will be out in the afternoon. There's a few more things we do need to talk about. So please do me a massive favor. Make sure you've hit that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're through. I'm going to get it in the neck from the YouTubers. But hey, we're still through. That's the best I can offer you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Forest 4, Exeter 2. Does that make it sound better? See you tomorrow. Have a good night. Come on, you Reds.